You're watching someone slice their finger open with a kitchen knife, and your hand flinches. Not because you're in danger, not because anything touched you, but because somewhere deep in your skull, a cluster of neurons just fired, as if you were the one holding that blade. As if the pain bleeding out of their skin somehow leaked into yours. This is empathy. And it's not poetry. It's not kindness. It's your brain temporarily forgetting where you end and someone else begins. I'm talking about mirror neurons, the closest thing biology has ever created to actual telepathy. Welcome to Briefly Science, where today we're cracking open the most unsettling question in neuroscience. How do you feel what I feel when you're not me? Let's get uncomfortable immediately. You don't experience reality directly. You never have. Everything you think you see, hear, touch, that's a simulation your brain cobbled together from electrical signals and chemical whispers. You're piloting a meat robot through a world you never actually touch. And here's where it gets weird. When you watch someone stub their toe, trip on a curb, or accidentally slam their thumb with a hammer, your brain doesn't just understand their pain. It runs a miniature version of that pain inside your own neural tissue. It's rehearsing suffering, yours, theirs. The line gets blurry. 1996, a lab in Parma, Italy. Neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti and his team are studying motor control in macaque monkeys. They've got electrodes implanted in a monkey's premotor cortex, the brain region that fires right before you move. Standard stuff. They're tracking which neurons light up when the monkey reaches for a peanut. Except, one afternoon, a researcher grabs a peanut while the monkey just sits there watching, and the monitor goes haywire. The monkey's neurons fired. The same exact neurons that activate when it best reaches for food. Just activated watching someone else reach for food. The monkey didn't move, but its brain acted like it did. They called them mirror neurons, and it broke neuroscience wide open. Because here's what that means. Your brain contains cells that don't care whether you're doing something or watching someone else do it. To them, same thing. When you see someone smile, the neurons controlling your smile muscles whisper awake. When you watch someone lift a cup, your motor cortex quietly simulates lifting. When someone near you feels pain, your pain circuits hum along in sympathy. You're not imagining their experience. You're running their experience as a background process in your own skull. And this isn't limited to actions. This is emotions, sensations, intentions. Let's zoom into your brain for a second. You've got about 86 billion neurons total. Enough microscopic processors to outnumber every star in the Milky Way if you stacked them all in space. But only a fraction of those are mirror neurons. They cluster in specific regions. Your premotor cortex, which plans movements. Your inferior parietal cortex, which integrates sensory information. And crucially, your insula and anterior cingulate cortex, which process your own emotional and physical pain. When you stub your toe, these pain centers scream. When you watch someone else stub their toe, these same regions light up. Quieter, sure, but measurably active. fMRI scans confirm it. Your brain is literally simulating a diluted version of their agony. And your conscious mind translates that simulation into something we politely call empathy. But really, you're just experiencing secondhand suffering because your neural architecture can't fully distinguish between self and other. Think about that. You wince when someone gets hit. You smile when a stranger laughs. You feel awkward when someone embarrasses themselves on stage. None of these responses require conscious thought. They're automatic, reflexive. Your mirror system activating before your rational brain even catches up to ask, wait, why do I care? Now here's where evolution gets sneaky. Mirror neurons didn't evolve to make you a better person. They evolved because social species that could predict each other's behavior survived better. If you can internally simulate what I'm about to do, if your brain can run my action plan before I execute it, you gain a massive advantage. You know if I'm reaching for food or a weapon. You know if I'm friendly or hostile. You can cooperate more effectively, hunt together, share information. Your ability to read me isn't magic. It's your mirror system running tiny predictive simulations constantly, guessing my next move based on microscopic cues. And humans? We took this system and cranked it to 11. Because we don't just mirror actions, we mirror intent. Watch this. Someone reaches toward a glass of water. Your mirror neurons fire. But if that same person reaches toward the glass with a clenched fist, different pattern, same action, different goal, different neural response. Your brain isn't just copying movement, it's decoding purpose. It's reading the invisible story behind the gesture. And this happens faster than conscious thought. You know what someone's about to do before they finish doing it, because your mirror system already played out the script. But it gets weirder. Your mirror neurons respond differently based on who you're watching. Studies show they fire more intensely when you observe someone you identify with. Same culture, same race, same in-group. They fire less when watching strangers or out-group members. Your empathy literally has bias coded into its circuitry. You feel more for people who look like you, sound like you, remind you of you. And before you feel guilty about that, this isn't moral failure. This is evolutionary pragmatism. Early humans needed to trust their tribe and suspect outsiders. Your mirror system learned to prioritize local social bonds over universal compassion because that's what kept your ancestors alive. Now let's talk about the dark side, because yes, there's always a dark side. If mirror neurons let you feel someone's pain, they also let you feel someone's pleasure. And here's where things get uncomfortable. When you watch someone succeed, your mirror system activates. You simulate their joy. But simultaneously, your brain also runs a comparison algorithm. They succeeded. I didn't. Threat detected. This is why schadenfreude exists. Pleasure at someone else's misfortune. Your mirror neurons let you experience their failure, but your competitive circuits label that failure as your relative success. You feel empathy and rivalry at the same time, tangled together in the same neural real estate. And if your mirror system is damaged, you get something close to sociopathy. Not the Hollywood version, the real thing. People with certain forms of psychopathy show reduced mirror neuron activity. They can intellectually understand that you're in pain, they see you crying, they process the information, but they don't feel it. Their simulation software is glitching. They can predict your behavior without experiencing your emotions, which makes them incredibly effective manipulators, because they're running purely cognitive models of you without the emotional feedback loop that normally makes hurting others feel bad. But here's the truly disturbing part. Your mirror system doesn't just passively observe, it actively shapes who you become. You are, neurologically speaking, a patchwork of everyone you've ever watched. Every mannerism you absorbed from a parent. Every speech pattern you picked up from a friend. Every emotional reaction you learned by watching others react. You think you chose your personality, but really? Your mirror neurons have been quietly copying people your entire life, stitching together a Frankenstein's monster of borrowed behaviors until you forgot which parts were originally yours. And language? Language might be the mirror neuron system's greatest hack. When you read these words right now, your motor cortex is subtly activating the muscles you'd use to speak them. You're not just understanding the concept of running when I say it. You're internally simulating the physical act. Words trigger motor memories. Metaphors work because your brain treats them like real sensory experiences. When I say rough day or bitter disappointment or warm welcome, you're not processing abstract symbols. You're activating tactile, taste, and temperature circuits. Language isn't separate from physical experience. It's built on top of your body's simulation engine. So when you read a novel and lose yourself in it, you actually are losing yourself. Your mirror system is running the protagonist's experiences as if they were yours. You feel their fear, their longing, their triumph. Books aren't entertainment. They're consensual possession. You volunteer to let someone else's neural patterns temporarily overwrite your own. And this brings us to the big question. If your mirror neurons blur the line between you and me, where does you actually end? Philosophers have argued about the self for thousands of years, but neuroscience is suggesting something unsettling. You might not be a single unified consciousness. You're a constantly shifting network of simulations, running models of other people, predicting their actions, mirroring their emotions, copying their behaviors. The you that feels solid and continuous, that might just be the brain's user interface pretending everything's under control. Underneath, you're a bustling colony of processes, many of which are busy pretending to be other people. And, yep, I just used bustling. Fight me. But here's the thing that saves this from being pure existential horror. This system, this weird involuntary empathy machine, is also what makes connection possible. When someone truly sees you, truly gets you, their mirror neurons are resonating with yours. You're literally syncing brain states. Your neural rhythms align. This isn't metaphor. Brain imaging studies show that during deep conversation, people's brains start firing in similar patterns. You entrain to each other. You create temporary shared consciousness. That moment when you lock eyes with someone and just understand, that's your mirror systems recognizing each other. Hello, fellow simulation. Hello, fellow ghost piloting meat. I see you because I can feel myself in you. And maybe that's the real gift here. You're not alone in your skull. You never were. Every person you've ever loved has left neural fingerprints in your cortex. Every stranger you've empathized with briefly merged their reality with yours. You're not an island. You're an ecosystem, a living archive of everyone who ever touched your mirror system and taught it new ways to simulate being human. So the next time someone near you feels pain and you flinch, don't dismiss it as weakness. That's your brain proving something extraordinary. You can experience what you've never lived. You can suffer on behalf of someone else's body. You can borrow joy from a stranger's smile. You're walking around with telepathy hardware installed in your skull. It's just analog, messy, imperfect telepathy that works through motor mimicry and emotional resonance instead of mind reading. And honestly, that might be better, because perfect telepathy would mean total transparency. No privacy, no mystery, no self. But mirror neurons give you just enough connection to feel what others feel, while still maintaining the sacred boundary between your pain and theirs. You get to be both separate and together, individual and interconnected. You're not an isolated consciousness trapped in bone. You're a node in a vast empathy network, constantly running simulations of everyone around you, learning from their patterns, absorbing their humanity, and in return, leaving traces of yourself in their neural architecture. When you finally return to Stardust, the people who loved you will carry echo patterns of your gestures, your voice, your emotional rhythms. You'll live on as ghost subroutines in their mirror systems. That's not immortality, but it's something. And if you want to keep your empathy circuits sharp while learning why your brain does these beautifully weird things, maybe subscribe. Evolution favors those who understand how connection works. Don't let your mirror neurons atrophy from underuse. Stay curious, stay resonant, and remember, every time you truly listen to someone, your brain is running their reality as homework. Make it count. See you in the next one.